A shout out to our podcast sponsor, sportsponsorship.co.uk. If you or your business are interested in making a real difference to the Scottish game, supporting hundreds of kids into regular football, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk and they'll find the right fit for your brand.
Mental.
Some excellent shots of disgruntled fans, I must say. That's always a good thing to see.
yeah. I mean,
Rangers fans looking absolutely raging.
As soon as the third goal went in, there was quite a few walking out, wasn't there? But yeah,
Walking out?
No, surely not.
Yeah, there was.
Was there actually?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
I mean, looking at the stadium just now, it doesn't look like it's like half empty or anything, but there's quite a few that look like they hit the exits. You know, obviously the camera's picking it up. So, yeah, I think all they really needed to do was just put in a gutsy performance, and they're not doing that. Like, it's plain and simple. I think the fans have got a bit pissed off with the way that the season started, and I think it's, again, the defensive work, or the lack of defensive work, the sort of comedy errors that seem to happen in the lead up to goals. I think that's what they're getting sick of. But it was 3 of them, basically, in this game so far. And they obviously happened very quickly. Here's coming another one as well. Fucking
This
hell.
reminds me
just
of all the chat about Martin when Southampton got promoted was about these nonsense goals that they kept giving away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And
stupid defensive mistakes and trying the same sort of rinse and repeat.
Yeah. Also saying that they couldn't really, he wasn't able to break down a low block, you know, which is obviously a bit concerning, considering that's going to be like 95% of the games for us. But, I don't know. I just, the only positive that I've heard is if you do give him a bit of time, you know, that style does start to click, but you don't really get that at Rangers. That's a problem. So,
yeah,
we'll
I think
see.
it was episode 4, the managerial merry-go-round episode that we had,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd quoted that could it happen where Rangers lose one of the early games or in the league campaign, or struggle in one of the early games in the league campaign, lose in Europe, maybe lose their first Old Firm, and people are asking for Martin to go. Doesn't even seem like it's had to go as far as the first Old Firm for people. If you could beat, so it's 3-0 after, well, basically a half time.
Mm-hmm.
If it ends up 4, 5 or 6, which it could,
Yeah.
that's, even though we know how good Bruges are, it could be writing on the wall for him, which is mental.
No, definitely. I mean, the next 2 weeks, you know, were crucial for Martin because, you know, obviously dropping 4 points, you know, against 2 sides that you should be picking up maximum points with. But, you've got, you know, a double header against Bruges. You've got St Mirren as well, which have typically caused Rangers loads of problems, you know, over the last year or two. And then you've got the Old Firm, you know, so he's made it a lot harder by not picking up those points early on, because then you could maybe excuse a poor result against, you know, Bruges, or a couple of poor results against Bruges. Or you could maybe, you know, drop a couple of points at St Mirren or something like that. But now the pressure's really on to sort of win every one of these really important games. I think the priority is obviously domestically, but my worry is, and I know I've obviously mentioned it before, is the mentality side. You know, realistically, if they're only really sort of, you know, meant to be kind of focusing on domestic football, I know Europa League is going to be round the corner. Then cheers for that. Then you know, do they have the mentality to be motivated to perform domestically? I don't know. Don't think so. They don't look that motivated at the moment, to be honest. And it's a massive game to get up for, you know.
It's the perfect storm this for a team like Hearts to split the Old Firm this, innit? Because
Or Hibs.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I said a team like, and I'd say Hibs are,
Or Motherwell.
in terms of their ability, very much like Hearts. No, Rangers performing like this, fucking hell, they're lucky it is like a 2-horse race type of league. Because imagine they're in a league like the Premier. So you look at Man United last season, finishing, what was it, 16th in the end or something.
Yeah.
Christ, I mean, Rangers at worst can finish 3rd.
I mean, you can't
if
at
things
worst,
carry
you
on
know.
like this, like,
Yeah.
oh my god,
My God.
You can't
Probably
at worst
getting ahead of
finish third,
ourselves.
though. That's the thing, you know, because just down in the Prem, it's obviously different because there's so many clubs with money, and there's so many, you know, clubs, you know, getting more and more investment as the seasons go on. But here, the amount that sort of Hibs, Aberdeen, Hearts are catching up in terms of investment is an absolute fraction, of the type of investment that, well, Rangers have had. For example, Celtic have obviously always had their riches there. But yeah, it's a drop in the ocean. For Rangers to not get second is a disaster. Like, it's an absolute disaster. Like anything, it doesn't matter if it's third or fourth or fifth. Anything outside of second is a complete disaster.
Oh, it is. It fully is. But the headlines. I mean, it's happened before where Hearts have finished second between the Old Firm, and it's been first and third for the Old Firm. I'm not saying it's going to happen, of course not. But imagine Rangers finish, say, fifth. But that's my point. That's exactly my point. Like, Man United finishing 16th is ridiculous. That is the equivalent of Rangers finishing bottom half, but it just can't happen up here. But I'm saying we can't even fathom it happening. But imagine it did. Imagine you end up in fifth place. Oh, sorry.
To be honest, like,
getting myself a bit too excited here.
The way that they're performing, though, in all seriousness, I've said it before. Anyone, feels that they can have a go at this Rangers team. Anyone, it doesn't matter who it is. So ultimately, they need to do something about that mentality shift, soon, because if they don't, getting second is going to be really bloody hard, and especially if you look at how smart, say, Hearts have been, if we just pick on them purely. Hibs are definitely in the same bracket as well. Aberdeen, I think there's quite a few areas that maybe need to be tested over the course of the season, but they look decent. But you look at Hearts especially, the signings that they've made, and the stats behind those signings, and then the identity that Derek McInnes brings, and the understanding of the Scottish game. It's just it means that they're on a decent footing. For Rangers, they've got Martin, who doesn't really understand the Scottish game that much. I know he did play for Rangers for a wee bit, for 6 months or whatever. And you've got a lot of players, that really haven't come from the Scottish leagues at all, so they don't really get it, don't really understand Rangers. And then you've got a hierarchy that's come in that that again don't really fully understand the club as well. So there's sort of risks at every level. Maybe having a little bit more balance, and even the coaching staff, for example, just having a couple of influences in there that understand the club might have helped a
Rangers men in there.
Well, just I think it would have been maybe a decent opportunity to have that transition when you've had obviously such a sweeping change of the Clement era into the sort of Barry Ferguson, Neil McCann, Billy Dodds, Alan McGregor, even just to retain one or two of them, just to support, even if it is just for the first season, might have been sensible. But it seems like quite a drastic change they've made. But hey, yeah, as we well know, it's not started off well this season, and big changes needed.
Every good dressing room needs a shagger.
Yes, they do. So he's on the old Amazon Prime tonight. So with
is he?
Scotty Arfield, yeah.
That must be his punditry debut, is it?
I can't really remember him being on any of the sort of big channels before, but
wow,
yeah, he's sometimes you're not really too sure if he's finished his answer, so he's just sort of gives a short one, and then they're like, oh shit, and then Scotty Arfield's going to pick him up.
I was going to say it could be quite good. He's calls a spade, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I like him. I'm a big fan, obviously, but yeah. Anyway, enough Rangers chat.
Are you? For those of you who've made it to minute 8 or 9 or whatever it is of this podcast, this is Tin Pot, a Scottish football podcast. It's not a Rangers podcast, as a lot of people were pointing out last week after the big old meltdown from Andrew. My name's Tom. I'm your host for the next half an hour or so. I'm joined by Matt and Andrew, our regular guests on the pod, our co-hosts. I don't know what we are. We're a good trio. And by way of giving you a sort of contents page for tonight's episode, we're discussing last week's European games. We'll have a quick couple of minutes on Dundee United and Hibs on Thursday night. We'll look at the upcoming European football for this week. We're recording on Tuesday night, so this is bang in the middle of the Rangers game, which is why we've had sort of 5-10 minutes on that at the start. We'll look at the transfers, the teenage Scottish transfers from this week. A couple of big headlines in British football, maybe even European football, I could say. And then we'll look at the Viaplay Cup games that were on the weekend and a quick look ahead to the quarterfinals as well. So that's what's coming up in this episode. But before we crack on, I've not even asked you, Matthew. I had a bit of a couple of minutes with Andrew before you joined, but a very important question, as we always ask. How are you? What's going on?
I'm well, thank you.
Good.
Big day tomorrow. My daughter starts primary school tomorrow, so been preparing for that. Getting stickers put on jumpers and whatnot, so she doesn't lose.
Jim Leishman going to be there?
I don't know if Big Jim's cutting the ribbon there. I think it's a quieter event. Big Jim only turns out to the big stuff, although I was at a family fun day at a local primary school in Dunfermline on Saturday and no sign of Big Jim, so maybe he's on holiday. I don't know. There was a pasta van selling pasta.
A pasta van?
I know. No burgers or hot dogs at this place. It was pasta. It was very posh.
Whoa.
I know.
Could go down the Gary Neville route and complain that you used to get butter with your bread in a restaurant, and now you get olive oil, vinegar, and whatever else he fucking said. Olives. Yeah, the country's gone mad, isn't it? Pasta vans at events. Give us a burger van.
There was an ice cream van, and it was like £3 for a fucking kid's cone. Absolutely scandalous. This guy's racing it, and the queue was like massive the whole time. This guy's making like thousands and thousands of pounds. Like, oh shitty Mr. Whippy ice cream. That's absolutely rubbish. You know,
such a stingy prick. It's unbelievable.
Well, £3. I mean, if you wanted like a flake, it was £3.50. 50p for a flake. half a flake, like this size fucking flake.
You used to get the full thing for 99p. That was it, wasn't it?
I know.
That's why it was called the 99. Do they still call it a 99, or are they not allowed to?
Surely they're not allowed.
Children's cone. Okay, fair enough.
With a plate.
I tell you what is inflation proof. I had this chat in the pub a few weeks ago. The only thing that I can see in the world that's inflation proof is a game of pool. How much was a game of pool when you were young? £1?
50p, depending on where you were.
Don't tell me 50p.
It depends where you were, mate, but it never went higher than £1. It was never higher than £1.
But anyway, even if it was 50p, it's £1. It's been £1 for over a decade at least.
It's double the price, mate.
For over a decade at least. So for at least a decade, maybe I'd say 15 to 20 years, you're talking £1 for a game of pool. And I don't see it going up anytime soon. So that's inflation proof. Anyway.
It's true.
We digress.
We eat pool balls for our breakfast? I don't think so, mate. The bowl of cereal and some milk.
How does that help with austerity, mate?
Yeah, how does that help us, mate?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I mean, it makes people
we can get them in a sock,
all right?
and just batter the shopkeepers who steal his stuff. We ate ball in a sock. Bush.
I'll fucking go back in my box, fella. I had another good story to share with you, but I won't. I'll move on.
Inflation related.
Go on. Go on.
No, I refuse. It was. I made such a big deal about this, and it's oh my god, it's not even a story. I just
Anecdote of the day.
I saw just before I came on a news story from Stockport that there was a Richard Madeley lookalike contest, and the winner was a pug. True story. They dressed up with like a little wig and in a little suit. It really got me.
That's terrific.
I mean, I think the build-up to the story was better than the story itself, but if you get a chance, check it out. It's fucking great.
Absolutely terrific.
I mean, just the Richard Madeley lookalike contest in itself got me going. But the fact that a pug won it. God, unbelievable.
Was he there? Did he make an appearance?
No, I don't think he's too happy about the whole thing.
Okay. Good.
Especially if a pug ends up winning. Fucking hell.
Well, yeah, it's a big slander towards Mr. Madeley. On to football. Because we did say this would be a snappy episode for our listeners. We don't want to disappoint. Looking back to Thursday, the Europa Conference League playoff. Dundee United and Hibs. Hibs obviously qualifying and getting through to the next round. Their game's on Thursday, and United narrowly missing out by half a post width when Fata missed that all important penalty. Did you boys watch any games? Have you got any thoughts on them?
I'll let you go, Matthew.
I watched the Hibs game, minus the half-time analysis, which I couldn't bear to watch.
Who's in the studio?
Lewis Stevenson and Scott Allen.
He's a Rovers man.
I know, and he needs to work on his. I don't know. Maybe I'm not able to speak. I'm genuinely.
I was going to say you're struggling to get sentences.
Shot yourself in the foot there, like.
I know. I wanted to flag him off, but he's from Kirkcaldy and he plays for the Rovers. He's a good guy. Just loosen up a bit, Lewis. That's all I'll say. Hibs were good and bad and exciting. The game was really fast-paced, really exciting. They scored a couple of goals, could have had more. A good mix of Scottish players playing well, Bowie and Mulligan. Mulligan Scottish? Hope he is. He's not Australian like Martin Boyle.
Yeah.
Well, he better be, Better be Scottish, And Boyle played for Australia, man. When was he born? Like Dundee or something? It's unbelievable.
Hey, don't get into that argument or we'd lose Scott McTominay and Che Adams and all these boys.
Mulligan's proper Scottish, isn't he? He's
good.
not
He's
registered.
Scottish.
Yeah.
Great player. Get him called up, seriously. But yeah, Hibs
so overall, Hibs deserved to go through even though they lost on the night.
Yeah, I think they had a lot of chances, especially in extra time. They were a stronger team when they made their substitutions. Obviously, they were knackered. They were absolutely knackered in the last 10-20 minutes, and they were just hanging on, just getting the ball out. Could have kept it in the corner a few times, and then Partizan scored a good goal, and Mulligan just switched off. They let the man run through, and they got the goal literally the last second of the game. And you're thinking then that it'll peter out to penalties or another heartbreak for Hibs, but I mean their subs Hoylett and Yuan, shows the strength and depth, and they brought in their club record signing as well. So I mean, the future's bright, and I think they can qualify. Their backing was incredible as well. The young team was something else, man. Honestly, it was class.
Those are exactly the sort of subs you want to be bringing on. The pace of Hoylett and Yuan, to stretch a game at that time. Really,
of course, Kieran Bowie from Kirkcaldy with the goal.
I was going to say, let's talk about that goal for a second.
I mean, how have we not led with that?
That's Kruskas Award winner. I'm telling you right now, this guy from Kirkcaldy is going to be standing beside Messi and all that the next Ballon d'Or ceremony, man.
Unreal goal.
Don't forget your roots, Kieran.
It was unreal.
Unbelievable.
Said to Ben Brannan, just like, hold my beer, mate. It's like from the same half of the pitch, but just 10-20 yards further out and way harder as well with the technique. It's unbelievable.
He's so big and strong now. I remember when he played for the Rovers when he was like 15, he was quite lanky and really thin, but he's so strong, so physical now. He bullied those defenders
even compared to last season. I remember the first time I'd really heard of him was up at Tannadice when he scored the winner against us, and even comparing back then to now, he's as Kev would say, bulked up big time. His touch has improved massively. And I you can't really put someone in a Scotland squad just from one goal. I'm not saying it because of that, but he needs to be in that Scotland squad come September.
He's starting definitely. For me, mate.
Starting, really?
The front two.
I wouldn't honestly be surprised as the season goes on. I think he's going to have a hell of a season. Obviously, you tipped him, Matt, at the start of the season as top goal scorer. I don't know if he'll be that or not, but I mean, he's going to be up there as definitely one of the, if not the most influential striker in the league, this season. As you said, it's just that strength he seems to have now. He's really kind of filled out a bit and just, is able to hold up the ball. He's obviously got that piece of magic in it. I mean, that goal's unbelievable. It's world-class goal. And it's not like it was a fluke. He meant it. If you really watch it, in the full build-up, he knows exactly what he's doing there. He knows exactly what he's doing, and it's come off. But these are the kind of bits of magic you need to get through those types of ties. That's it. And they're not playing a shite team. It's a decent team. And Hibs have done that. They've done a fair bit of renovation over the course of the window. Mulligan, I think, is a great bit of business. I know obviously he switched off in that moment there, but it was one player that Rangers were tipped to be getting early on, and it didn't happen. I don't know why. I don't know if it was just a rumour, but I was genuinely disappointed because he seemed like a really decent prospect, and he's showing it now. It's pretty
embarrassing, isn't it, that Dundee have had Mulligan, McCowan.
Yeah,
and
Cameron,
Lyle Cameron, and even I would go as far as to say Silla that's gone to Livy. They've had four really good quality players, and achieved fuck all in terms of transfer money for them. So we're not gonna. I don't want to digress too much, but that in itself is a bit of a joke. I'm really happy for Hibs to get through. We'll come on to their next tie in just a wee bit, but I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them get to that league phase, and we'll talk about how we think they'll do just in a wee moment. But on to United, and obviously I was watching that. I was glued to that on Thursday night, and it was typical football phrase, but it's a game of two halves. We were fantastic in the first half, deserved our 2-0 lead. You know, it wasn't like a fluke. You weren't 2-0 up and thinking, how the hell are we here? We were not dominating possession, but dominating the good quality chances. And then just before half-time, we lose Zach Sapsford to injury. He goes off at half-time and doesn't come back out for the second half. And he is one of the most energetic, like a Duracell Bunny sort of striker. He's everywhere, really, really good at pressing. And he also provides a bit of an out ball. He'll run in behind. He can chase a ball down. So whenever second half without him, we subbed him off at halftime for Fata, who's not the same player. We get the ball in defensive third. We can't then shell it long to chase it down behind. We're not getting the same press from the front line, so they've immediately broken that first line of press, and they just peppered us second half. It was 2 going on, maybe 4 or 5. We're quite fortunate to get out in the 90 minutes. But then the resilience to get through to penalties and to lose a tie to a team of that calibre. Yeah. When you look at the first leg, they were 1-5 to win that first leg. They're massive, massive favourites. To take that to over 2 legs, 4-4, and to penalties, and to miss by half a post width in the shootout I was really proud of them. It was a brilliant achievement. Yeah. And I think that is hugely, hugely down to Jim Goodwin. We've had managers in the past where the players aren't playing for them. I've said this before in previous episodes, they're just too interested in their own situation and not playing for the team. So, yeah, all credit to him. And I don't think anyone expected anything more of us going into that. So, yeah, happy with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think it was a tough draw, really tough draw. And as you said, the odds speak for themselves. But, you know, for Rapid Vienna, for any Scottish team to get drawn, them, you know, it's a hard battle, that one, you know, and to be so dominant in that first half, I think was thoroughly impressive. Obviously, the injury really made a huge impact on the team, but to be in it, you know, and as you said, to only lose it by that penalty, to lose it by a couple of inches, you know, is something for him to be immensely proud of. And hopefully, you know, the team just carry that forward as a positive, you know, into the season and use it as a boost rather than the complete opposite. You know, it would be a shame for the Heads to go down after that. You know, it's a brutal way to go out on penalties. It's horrible. But, you know, hopefully they're looking at it the same way as you are, and then, you know, proud of themselves and carry forward that confidence, because the amount of teams of equal quality to Rapid Vienna in our league, you know, is pretty slight. So I would, if I were them, I'd take that as a real positive.
Yeah, I was saying that post-match, I'd weirdly rather lose on penalties, because if you lose to a sloppy set piece or something in the last minute, you've made an error to get there. But on penalties, the only error you've made is by hitting a shot an inch too wide. You know, you've done the hard bit and just missed a penalty. So the only other thing I was going to comment on that game was the huge hullabaloo. We're going to use the word hullabaloo on this episode that was made a few weeks ago about United not playing any Scottish players. Yeah, they had none in a starting lineup, and the press were all over it. And on Thursday night, of the 22-man squad, we had 10 Scots in that squad, and of the 10 Scots in the squad, 9 of them came through the academy, and there was 5 Scots that played a part, and 4 of the 5 that were on the pitch at any one point had come through the academy. On the same night, Hibs had a 22-man squad with 9 Scottish players in it. Of those 9, 4 of them came through their academy, and only one of those 4 academy players actually played a part in their defeat that night. So and that's just the nature, I think, of football, maybe just Scottish football, I don't know, but just so quick to jump on a negative headline and 100%. Say, oh, United aren't playing any Scottish players. We've had fucking 9 players against Rapid Vienna to go and get a draw that have come through our academy. It's unbelievable, and no one writes a story about that.
Even, I mean, that's a huge headline, you know, to as you said, to write as a positive. But even if it wasn't the case, and you know, you had an even sort of higher domination of foreign players, you know, within the 22-man squad. I mean, who cares? Who gives a shit? You know, like, you've not even played the game yet. You know, like, Goodwin was getting that jip before, you know, the tie had started. So I can kind of understand the criticism that the likes of the Old Firm tend to get, because, you know, you do have the luxury of picking the cream of the crop, you know, if you really want to. It doesn't seem to be a huge desire to do that at times, which is a shame. But with teams like Dundee United, who have very tight budgets, you know, you shouldn't be writing those types of headlines, especially before, you know, a ball's even been kicked. Fair enough if you want to stick the boot in and find an angle, you know, after they've maybe lost convincingly or something like that. Fine, you know, if that's what you feel is the reason for it, fine. But yeah, I think that was a bit disgraceful, to be honest. And hopefully they've not really taken much notice of it. But I thought Goodwin actually handled it really, really well in his interviews.
Yeah,
you know,
he did. Yeah.
So he didn't really give it any airtime or any sort of unnecessary airtime. He shut it off and pretty sort of politely, I thought.
Yeah, it would be good to know if a Scottish team has ever fielded or ever had 9 academy players in their squad for a European fixture. It probably has happened, obviously, but it's not a frequent occurrence. So
I certainly can't remember it for Rangers anyway. You know, you get the odd one here or there that basically you have to do because of the whole sort of homegrown agreement. But yeah, it's not. These are not players that you're expected to play. You know, but for United they are. You know, so it's great to see.
Yeah, and they played a good part. You know, the boys that came on starting was, yeah, he had a chance in the last 15 minutes extra time to win it. But anyway, we'll move on. Matthew, we've not heard from you. I mean, what are Rovers like with their homegrown talent in Europe? Are they playing boys in the Conference League? Or?
Mate, we brought through Kieran Bowie, plays for Hibs, Dylan Tate in the league with Falkirk, Ross Laidlaw, played for Ross County a long time. Ross Callaghan went to Hearts, did alright.
Good Kirkcaldy boys.
David Bates played for Rangers, Master Bates. Amongst many others, mate.
Can we sing the David Bates song?
We're
what is the David Bates song?
factory of great young players, mate.
Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you as you were listing off all these players. David Bates song is.
I had no more.
It's just the David Bates. It's just his name over and over.
Let's go!
Danilo.
Oh, Danilo. Russell Martin for
Danilo.
president. Never mind getting him 5th place in the league. Russell Martin for PM. Anyway, moving on to just a very, very quick overview of the 4 games this week in Europe. Celtic are playing at home to Kairat Almaty, a Kazakh team. Almaty never having played a Scottish team before, and Celtic never having lost at home to a Kazakh team. They're massive favourites for the game.
Yeah,
I assume we all see it going one way.
3-0 Celtic first leg, and then a scrappy draw away in the heat on I suppose a plastic pitch usually, right?
Yeah,
Kazakhstan.
Surely, I mean, it's not.
Hours.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Like going that far away.
They always win their home games, and they always seem to have dodgy away results that they always go through. So,
well, saying that though, I mean, I think it was 2017 they had Astana, and they progressed. Then the year after that they had Athens. They didn't qualify. Cluj, they didn't qualify. Ferencváros, they didn't qualify in 2020, 2021. Midgetland, or however you pronounce it, they didn't qualify, and then the previous 3 seasons they've just gone directly into the UCL. So so yeah, this is the first time that they've had to kind of qualify in, was it like 4 years or something? So personally I think they'll be fine. Like I don't think Kairat will be up to much. It is difficult away, but as long as they do the job at home, as you said, like they'll be fine away. As you know, worst case scenario, nick a point away.
He'll be smart in that first leg. He's going to hold out for like Matt said, a couple of goals to nil, and not try and do anything too fancy, and just take it away and get a draw, because they know they're not going to go away and lose to a similar scoreline, 2 or 3-0. So they just need to keep it tight, and they can definitely do that. This team's never made it to a group stage of any European tournament in their life, and I don't think this is going to be their first time. So easy win for Celtic. Aberdeen, they're playing Steaua Bucharest, not the Steaua Bucharest that won the European Cup back in the, was it 70s or 80s?
It's not the same team with a different name for
tell me.
sort of dodgy reasons, I think.
FCSB, yes.
Yeah.
It's the same as Rangers and the Rangers, isn't it? It's
so
massive
new teams with no history, that's right.
Andrew's raging.
No one calls them by their full name, the Rangers, do they? Just calling Rangers, weird.
Yes, it's very strange. I call them there. I just say
they call them Wraith Rovers, man. It's the Wraith. Really important. Like the is a really important part as well.
Dundee United versus the at the weekend.
Yeah.
But FCSB were last year's Superliga winners in Romania, but they've only got 5 points from the first 6 games this season. Not in the great run of form. Knocked out of the Champions League qualifiers by a Macedonian mob that I'd never heard of. Aberdeen, I think, go into it slight favourites, but it's toss of a coin stuff. Matt,
I
any
don't
thoughts?
think Aberdeen will qualify from this. I don't think Aberdeen are a good team. I think they'll struggle.
You think they've been overpriced by the bookies? You think they're...
Yeah, I think it's good odds for a Steaua victory, man. Aberdeen barely won a game since like October last year. A year. I don't know. I don't think if he's sticking with some players that you like,
just,
like that
just
Height
beat
Nelson
Morton,
in the I know, but in the midfield he's a bit slow and he's a bit he can't get about. And they made a lot of new signings that are still trying to find a winning formula again to get them on a run. They did finish 5th in Scotland, and they obviously won the Scottish Cup, which is a great achievement. But that's a one-off fixture. So if you go with the last form of the last 20 games or so, I mean.
It depends, doesn't it? If they can get themselves up for it, like they got themselves up for the Celtic game. Obviously, Celtic are better than their opposition on Thursday. If they can get themselves in that same mindset, then maybe, I don't know.
But we've got to be honest. Celtic played really badly in that game. That was quite out of character, I would say. They weren't really willing to put the sort of foot on the neck, if you like, and just try those sort of penetrating passes. They were just side to side, and had they been on form, I don't think they would have stood a chance. Aberdeen, they were gutsy, but I kind of feel, unfortunately, I'm with Matt a wee bit on this one. I do think that they'll struggle. This is kind of a bit of a wake up call, I think, for this Aberdeen squad. That it's a bit make or break. I feel anyway. There's a level to go up, and I think Steaua Bucharest will be up for it, obviously. So they're really going to have to go up the gears to try and get a decent result. But who knows? I don't know. It depends on how decent Steaua Bucharest actually are. As you said, they don't seem like a brilliant side. They got knocked out by a fairly mediocre Macedonian mob, in the last campaign. So maybe we're giving them a wee bit too much credit. But
I mean, they've got the cushion of the Conference League, so whatever happens will be in group stage.
Yeah, that probably plays into it as well, doesn't it? Because if they go into that game knowing that they've got that backup, that cushion, then there's less impetus.
Maybe they'll be a bit more
go and do it.
Free flowing. I don't know.
You've given us a. Oh,
I
sorry,
think what we're trying to maybe in my head is we're kind of comparing maybe Aberdeen to Hibs and Hearts at the moment, and I understand Hearts haven't had an absolutely perfect run or whatever, but they look like two dangerous sides. That we are having conversations about splitting the old firm. Whereas Aberdeen, it's a little bit less convincing. At the start of the season, I wouldn't say alarm bells are ringing, but I would say that the other two seem to have got off on a better footing. And then you look at the performances, especially from Hibs, obviously in Europe. Can you see Aberdeen performing similarly, in Europe? I don't think so at the moment. But this is their time to kind of prove everyone wrong and step up a gear. If they don't, then I think maybe Europe's not for them this season. That's it.
Matthew, you gave us a 3-0 and draw prediction for Celtic. What's your Aberdeen prediction?
2-1 Stow first leg, 2-0 Stow second leg.
Oh, 4-1.
Yeah, sorry,
2 goals
Aberdeen.
better than the 6-1 aggregate that they got against Motherwell in 2010. They're gonna, fair enough.
Sorry, Aberdeen. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
prove
want
me wrong.
Aberdeen to do
Come
well.
on, post this on the fucking changing room wall, mate. My big beardy puss, slagging you off. Get yourselves motivated, but I can't get excited by Aberdeen. I just don't know why. They just
Aberdeen money will be having a fit. The boy that's advertising their tickets. On to Hibs. We'll come to Rangers last for obvious reasons. That game's currently ongoing. So Hibs at home to Legia Warsaw. Matthew's got skin in the game here, being kind of Polish. I think Warsaw are slight favourites in this game. Andrew, any thoughts on how this one's going to go?
I feel I've just been back in Hibs, to be honest, before anything had really kicked off. It was unfortunate the Europa League qualifiers went the way that they did, but it was so slim. They could have gone through, which hardly anyone really saw coming. But that performance has then sort of inspired them to then do what they did last week, and I feel the momentum's really with Hibs at the moment, really is. So I'm going to back them. I don't know how the scores will go over the 2 legs, but I think they'll go through. I think that it's clear to see that they can bring a really good atmosphere to Easter Road and cause difficulties. You don't score these kind of magical goals and have the types of performance without that kind of atmosphere behind you. So I think that at home, I'm feeling quite confident for them. Away, they just need to stay steady, I think. But no, I'll back Hibs to go through.
Yeah, I mean Hibs away, they like it, so I'd back them as well. Yeah, I think that's crucial, isn't it? When you're playing at home first, you got to get a bit of a cushion. Or pray that Warsaw field an ineligible player again and get a Celtic. We better rub of the green and they get knocked out. But
rub of the green,
rub the.
I mean, I think Hibs will do it as well. Warsaw struggled this season in the league. 4 points from 7 games. So,
sorry.
They did get to the quarterfinals of the Europa League Conference League last year, losing to Chelsea quite close, and they are a big name with big history. But Hibs already knocked out Parmesan Belgrade, so
Parmesan.
Parmesan. I know. I had some Parmesan on my dinner.
All right. So, are you going Hibs or Warsaw? Just one
I'm
word.
going Hibs, and
Hibs
also
over 2.
Warsaw's a good away day as well for the travelling fans. So get yourself to the Old Town, mate, and have a.
They're getting some good beer spots, aren't they?
Yeah,
this season.
Yeah, they've lucked out. We got fucking Luxembourg.
Yeah, I think Hibs are riding a wave, mate. They're riding a wave of fucking momentum in Europe, and they'll take the ferocity of Thursday night and continue that with a close win at home and a draw away. There we go.
Lovely. You start off your passionate rants very passionate, and then you taper off to because
I get very excited when I start to speak, and then I think, am I speaking too
Stephen
fast?
Fry reading you off
down, then I just
to sleep.
Lose interest in what I'm saying, in my own thoughts.
And just to move on, we won't have too long on this because we did have quite a bit of Rangers at the start. Rangers 3-1 down at home currently to Club Brugge.
Playing well in the second half though.
A team that, I mean, Club Brugge are Champions League pedigree. There's no two ways about it. They've done better than any Scottish team's done in the Champions League for, I don't have the stat on this, but it must be 20 years plus, by getting to the round of 16 last year. And only beaten by Aston Villa, who were, as we saw in the Premier League, a pretty ferocious outfit. Rangers also not the Rangers in Europe that clearly they were or have been over the last 5 years. Bruges' squad is worth way more. Their budget's slightly bigger. They're used to Champions League football, and that's showing. So I don't see Rangers turning this around between now and the end of the second leg.
Yeah, I mean, Bruges are really impressive on all fronts. You know, they're good to watch. They've got some great talent in there. They've banked £70 million, you know, in this window alone in player sales. You know, 30 million coming from Arden Jashari. So, you know, they've got a really good model there, like really, really good model there, and they are Champions League quality. There's no doubt. I've caught sort of the first half of the Rangers game here, and a wee bit of the second half. Seems a little bit better in the second half to watch, but yeah, the difference in quality is clear to see, and Rangers at the back are kind of Bambi on ice. So I saw this happening a few weeks back. I think Bruges will go through comfortably, especially when they go back to Belgium. You know, I think they'll cruise it. So yeah, just a step too far for Rangers.
I think Rangers will draw this game 3-3. You heard it here first. Stay till the end of the podcast. They're going to get back to a draw. Some guy with ponytails on, he's going to score a couple of goals.
Some guy with a ponytail.
He looks like he's silky, man. He's got a ponytail. He knows what it's all about. Who's that guy? Who's that?
Telo Asgard.
Yeah. What a good, cool guy, man.
Yeah, Eagleman's just come on at the same time.
Braids or something. He's like that Jamaican rapper. What's his name? Doak. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? A white Jamaican guy.
About. Yeah.
R. somebody or R.M. or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
You know what, Tom? It's like some really small white Jamaican, like English guy who like raps with a Jamaican accent and thinks he's black and that. He's like really popular now.
I mean, so far we've had a Richard Madeley contest won by a pug, and now we've got our Jamaican rapper. There's loads of things for us to go and check out on socials right now. It sounds incredible.
Richard Madeley's kind of top of that list, I'd say.
Richard,
though.
if you're listening, mate,
got to see that pug, you know. Or even if the pug's listening, like, come on, yeah. Could be like the octopus that did the predictions, you know.
Oh yeah,
he was quite good, I think.
What was his name? Colin? No, George.
Colin's great.
Was it Nigel or something?
Was it George? No, Nigel.
Listeners,
if you know what the name of the octopus was,
still listening, listeners
was predicting. Yeah, this is a 10-point episode. If you're listening at this point and you want to tell us what the name of the octopus was, instead of us googling it, you can write into us. It's just in the DMs. I was going to give you an email address, but we don't have one. We do, but I'm not sharing it. Moving on to our Teenage Mutant Ninja transfers from this week. We had two. Lennon Miller. First of all, we'll chat about him just for a minute or two. Motherwell's highest ever transfer fee that they've received, beating David Turnbull's $3 million move to Celtic a few years ago, and the most expensive Scottish teenager ever up until Ben Doak got his move. What a move! I mean, I remember us discussing this maybe 6 weeks ago, maybe 7 weeks ago, I don't know, and we're all discussing where we felt Lennon Miller should go. Should it be down south? Should it be to the old firm? Should it be abroad? And I think we were all on the same page that going abroad was going to suit him the best. It gives him the least amount of pressure on his career. He's not got the big spotlight of the English Premier League or the old firm, and it sort of broadens his horizons and gets him used to a new style of football. So I'm personally buzzing for him. I think he'll excel over there. And especially when I've done a wee bit of reading on Udinese and how they are as a team and what the manager likes to do, I think he'll be a great fit over there. And I'm buzzing to see how he gets on.
Yeah, he's a classic player. I think his style suits Italian football. And as we've seen in the past, all these Scottish players, it seems to be a place to go, to learn and to grow and to improve and to get a big move. So yeah, it's exciting stuff. Like, it's better than going to the shitty old firm, you know, and dicking about there, like under that spotlight and nonsense, and go there and have some nice food and a bit of sunshine and some nice tomatoes with Scott McTominay, and just have fun and play football. And he seems like the kind of guy that just doesn't feel any pressure, you know. He's a cool guy. I think he'll do really well. It'll be another exciting move. Come on.
Yeah, I think so. He's what stands out for me is obviously he plays well in a Motherwell shirt, but when you saw him making appearances for Scotland, you know, it's the types of passes he was putting together. It was the movement. It was the step up he took in his performance levels when he was playing with quality players respectfully around him. and seeing him do that at Udinese with then, unbelievable teams, to play in that league. The calibre is obviously chalk and cheese versus the SPFL. I think he's going to really excel. I think he could be, one of the, if not the best, player Scotland's ever had, in a long, long, long time, well before possibly, our generation. So he has the potential there. He's incredibly young still. I'm excited to see where his career goes. This is obviously, this could be a real springboard for him taking a step to a huge team in the Prem potentially. But from what I've seen of him, I think he's totally capable, absolutely totally capable of that. So now this is really exciting, and I wish him all the very best. I'm very glad he hasn't moved to either of the old firm, as Matthew's saying, because I just don't think it really would have brought his game on much. Obviously, yeah, you do get some European football there, but you're playing the same calibre of opposition as you were at Motherwell. Go and experience a different culture. Go and broaden your horizons, from a footballing perspective, and this is
especially
a great move
at that
for him.
age, I don't want to go too far, but yeah, I'm just as excited as you are, mate. I think what's mental to me is I was buzzing about Billy Gilmore when he was at Chelsea, and he was doing phenomenally well at that point, but he was 20,
Yep.
when he was playing for Chelsea under Lampard.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he got a move down there when he was much younger, but he was getting first team football at around 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember the last time. I mean, Darren Fletcher broke into the Man United team quite young.
Yeah.
But apart from that, we've really not seen a Scottish talent go for that sort of money to a foreign team in a long time. I think what could happen is you'll have a couple of seasons at Udinese and move to maybe another bigger Italian team. I think the English Premier League teams won't see enough of him, or won't see what they need to see in him to make that move. I think you maybe get another move in Italy before he shifts. Just fingers crossed and praying everything goes well, because anything can happen in football. But yeah,
I think that would do him well as well. Just that pace of growth would be better than taking a huge jump. But he's a really confident lad. Obviously you've seen that in maybe a few mishaps in interviews and such like. But he is really confident, and he'll be going there to start. He's wanting to be on the team sheet. So yeah, I reckon he'll excel. It might take a wee bit of time, just to set his place, but I think he'll once he gets into the groove of things, he'll be a real one to watch in Europe. You look at the attention that Scott McTominay has obviously rightfully got last season. Why can't Lennon Miller do something similar? It's all there for him.
Yeah, that could potentially be the only drawback, is that there'll be too many comparisons made. But hopefully, I don't think that's going to happen from the Italian media. I hope not.
No.
And on to, like I said, Lennon Miller went to be the most expensive Scottish teenager of all time, and within about 5 days it was broken by Ben Gannon Doak, who has shifted from Liverpool to Bournemouth for about 25 mil. And probably a bit more of a straightforward transfer. I think he's been on the lips of a lot of people over the last 18, 24 months to look at a move. He broke through a wee bit at Liverpool and got a couple of first team games, and then shifted out to Middlesbrough on loan, where he's done pretty well, I would say, in the Championship. He's not been the player of the season or anything like that, but he's done well. He's been thereabouts with assists and creating chances in the box and that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And it just shows how the difference is in going from like a Scottish team to Italy for $4.5 million to going from Liverpool to Bournemouth. And I'm not saying Ben Doak's a worse player, they're different positions, you can't really compare them, but to go at 25 mil is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's wild. I mean, he's obviously really sort of made a huge difference in the Scotland shirt. It's unfortunate, his injury record, but when he's come in, he's really made a huge difference there, and maybe that's a huge, obviously, bar the fact that Lennon Miller's come from Motherwell, maybe that's then been an important factor that Lennon Miller's not really quite established himself as an international starter under Clark yet. Given maybe another season, that price tag maybe would have went up a wee bit more. But yeah, there's no doubt when you're dealing with English tax, between clubs down there, you're talking big money. I hope he does well. I don't really know how it's going to work out for him, if I'm honest with you. He's a great player. I highly rate him. I don't really know too much enough about Bournemouth's intention, in terms of sort of style of play this season. If it fits him well, then it's a great move. If it doesn't, it would be a real shame just to see him kind of rotting away on the bench a wee bit, because he's obviously been in that situation. He's a young lad, but he's been on that situation, a fair bit over his sort of senior career. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I really want to see him kick on. If it doesn't happen, maybe a move to somewhere like Italy would have been a wee bit of a better move for him. But you're then talking huge budgets for a player that maybe is a little bit of a risk, for an Italian team. They seem to have a model for poaching.
Yeah, they're not going to go and pay those big figures for someone who's unproven, are they? Which
exactly.
is the wise thing to do. There's just not the same money in Italian football as there is in English football. But
no, absolutely.
Matthew, any other comments on Ben Gannon Doak before we move on?
Just mirroring what Andrew's saying, it's interesting to see how get on. I think Bournemouth play quite a high intensity, fast paced football, so that'll suit him. Christie's flourished under the manager, playing a deeper role, and Bournemouth lost. I think they sold one of their boys to Brentford or something like that. So there's a space there for him. They've got a good array of attacking players in wide positions. You saw the boy that got the double against Liverpool. So let's just hope he can get a game. I think the money is mad, but I mean Liverpool seem to be pretty good at selling players for big money.
I saw that list today. Was that the same list you saw? It was like 6 or 7 players that's paid about 500 grand for them all combined, and they've sold them for pretty much 100 million.
I don't think the price tag is going to put any pressure on him, because that seems to be the going rate these days for young players. You seem to pay a premium for young players.
25 is a snip, isn't it, in the English Premier League? It's not a lot.
You saw what we did for Scotland when he came in. He was like the difference maker. He completely changed the way we played in those Nations League games, and when he was injured, we were just absolutely pish. So I think Thursday can be a game changer for anyone.
Very direct.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, I just kicked my
Oh, jeez, peeps.
Sorry. I've moved spots today. I've got a wee table in front of me, and I just kicked the leg. Sorry.
Change location.
Yes,
before we move on to Viaplay Cup stuff, I composed somewhat of a quiz based on Scottish transfers earlier, just purely out of my own interest, more than anything else. It's not going to be for points. You're a team. We'll just very quickly do it. There's no limit to the amount of guesses. Just try and rattle through it as quick as you can. The top 10 most expensive players, Scottish players of all time, and we're not doing 70s. You went for like 500 grand, and we're converting that into today's money. We're just talking the official figures. So just fire names at me. He's not in the top 10. He is 12th, 13 million euros. Everything's in euros, by the way, because I use transfer.
Craig Gordon.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think he's slightly under that, though.
Yeah,
like
Craig
£9
Gordon
million
was
or
less.
something.
He was 10.8 million euros. He is 20th on the list.
McTominay
is number 1, yes.
Billy Gilmore.
Euros. Billy Gilmore is not in the... Oh, he is 9th, 14 million euros.
Che Adams.
Che Adams is 5th, yep, 16.7 million euros.
Who paid that? Southampton.
From
John
Birmingham. John McGlynn.
John McGinn, bro.
John McGinn, sorry.
John McGinn, no, he's not in the top anything, really. He's miles down. I don't think Hibs got a lot of money. He was 4 million or something from
Jesus.
Hibs.
Yeah, fair enough.
Jesus Christ.
First cross.
Give you a bit of a clue. We've just been discussing one for quite a while.
Ben Doak.
Ben Doak, yeah, 23 million euros.
That's awkward. I've just had a complete brain freeze, to be fair. So, no.
Yeah, I could have prepped you on this, but then
Kieran
that feels like cheating. Yes, Kieran Tierney is number 2.
Andy Robertson.
27 million euros. Robbo, no, he's somewhere down the list.
Who's number 1? Sorry, do we get number 1?
McTominay's number 1.
Okay, McTominay, Kieran Tierney.
Yeah, Robbo was 24th on the list, 9 million when he went from Hull to Liverpool, and that's in euros. So you've got number 1, 2, and 3 in McTominay, Tierney, and Doak. Then you've got to get 4. 5 was Adams at 16.7. Then you've got to get 6, 7, 8, and 10.
It's bloody hard.
Yeah.
What years are we
Feel free
talking?
to tap out if you want.
How far back do we go, Tom?
These are all within the last 10 years.
10 years, okay. Big money moves for this. For the Scots, yeah. Right, Thomas has guessed. We're going to Hickey.
Yeah.
Aaron Hickey is correct. Yep, 14.25 million euros. Bologna to Brentford.
And we don't know anymore.
Giving up after that.
We're going to roll the dice with Patterson, but I don't think so.
Patterson, yeah.
Nathan Patterson is 11th, just outside 14 million euros. Rangers to
Ryan Fraser as well.
Yeah, Ryan Fraser. Yeah.
Fraser's nowhere on the list.
Nah,
unfortunately.
Okay, fair enough.
No.
I think
he was
tapping
good
out.
for yeah,
tapping out.
Yeah.
The ones you're missing: Ollie McBurney, a ridiculous 19.1 million euros from Swansea to Sheffield United.
Christ,
The English tax. In 6th place is Stevie Fletcher, 15.2 million euros. Wolves to Sunderland.
Wow.
This man actually appears twice in the same position. He went for the same fee twice. 15.2 million euros from Forest to Leipzig, Leipzig to West Brom.
McBurney, you mug.
Not McBurney.
I mean, Burke. Sorry, Burke. Yeah. I was thinking of McBurney's.
Ollie McBurkey. And then in 10th place is Ross McCormack, 14.3 mil
to Villa. Oh my god.
From Fulham.
Absolute shite bags. It's how they. And that's ridiculous. The money they spent on those players. That's
so there you go. Those are the
nonsense.
Top 10 most expensive Scots of all time. We'll move on to Viaplay Cup stuff. There were some games over the weekend. The round of 16 was on, and it kicked off on Friday night with Celtic at home to Falkirk. It was a straightforward win for Celtic, wasn't it? 4-1. Dane Murray got his first goal for Celtic though, and I think was it Alistair Johnson that scored a pretty decent goal as well.
Yeah.
But not really much to chat about there. That was always going to be the case. I think Falkirk's first real test since they came up from, just in my opinion, they've played us, they've played Livy, and then they've played Celtic and been pumped. So, yep, that's cut and shut. Hearts was it's this first sort of stumbling block, I think, since the start of the season. They've struggled away at St Mirren, and St Mirren have ground out a win on penalties. And Stephen Thompson was chatting about the luck that you get in the cup, and he also made a big comment in his interview about Hearts' budget and the fact that it's only something that St Mirren can dream of. So I think he's trying to really emphasise the point that they were underdogs in that game despite finishing higher last season in the league. But I mean, yeah, it shows that anyone's there to be beaten. Everyone's been talking about Hearts being this imperfluous team. Yeah,
I think you've got to remember, like, they are integrating a lot of change, at once. And, obviously earlier I commented about how much stability they've brought through that transition. So to go out narrowly, against St Mirren, who are a side with quite a lot of stability within the league, I don't think there's really any embarrassment there. Obviously, they're looking to make changes very quickly, pick up silverware quickly this season. Derek McInnes has already mentioned that in interviews, but as I said, there's no shame in getting popped out by St Mirren at this stage. I don't think that would happen in the Scottish Cup, once Hearts are a little bit more grounded. So I don't think there'll be any Hearts fans that are absolutely furious with that. I think they see where the team's going. There is progression there. It's just maybe one of these games that have just come a wee bit too early, and as I said, it's not like they were convincingly beaten, so nothing massive to worry about there, I don't think.
Nothing for them to worry about, no, but something for St Mirren to be really proud of, I think, is the key takeaway.
Yeah, Robinson signed a new deal recently. He's done a great job there, stability.
Yeah, what a gaffer.
Yeah, what a gaffer, great manager.
Yeah,
really impressive. Robinson's old team, Motherwell, scraped through against St Johnstone after extra time. They obviously, as you'd imagine, when it's Premiership against Championship, they had most of the ball, most of the chances, but none of them were really clear-cut enough from what I saw anyway. But they go through, and that's all that really matters in the Cup, doesn't it? So they're in the draw. Thistle are showing really good form, and Ayr United less so. I'd backed Ayr United to do really well. I think I'd actually said that they were going to win the Championship before the start of the season, and they had a really good start to the Viaplay Cup group stages, and they've been beaten fairly convincingly by Thistle. So fair play to them. Everyone thought Thistle would maybe struggle as well. They've obviously lost Graham, who was a figurehead in that dressing room, and it's maybe more your bag this, Matt, than ours, because you're a championship guy. What did you make of that?
Yeah, I mean, they've won all their games in the cup. They got battered by St Johnstone in the first league game after going 1-0 up, and then they drew with Morton. They've not made a brilliant start in the league, but to get to the quarterfinals of the cups, and a great achievement. And it's just about finding that replacement. Can they get the goals for Graham? Mostly Tony Watt's their striker now, starting striker. Can he stay fit? Can he make the difference? Obviously he's not going to score as many as Graham, but they've still got a really strong defence in midfield, and they've got good players in behind the striker. As I said in my predictions, I don't think this is their season. I don't think they'll get in the playoffs. I think they'll be mid-table, and it'll be a bit of a mixed bag for this season under Wilson.
Yeah, they're not threatening for promotion or relegation, are they? They're mid-table fodder.
Getting to the quarterfinals and a game against Celtic at home, that's great. What can you ask for in the cup? That's what you want as a team like that. We run, and a bit of money at the end of it.
Yeah, exactly. Hibs, move on to them if that's all right. And they've obviously played 120 minutes on Thursday. They've changed, I think, 6 of their starting 11 moving into the game on the weekend against Livy away on that plastic pitch, but they've still managed to keep a clean sheet and ease through into the next round. Martindale's typical performance, try and keep it as tight as they can at the back and hope to get something from a set piece or maybe a breakaway. Didn't quite play out that way, but that's the difference for me between a Hibs and someone, for example, like United, is that strength in depth, being able to change that many players, bring in your subbies and still
didn't United play like the same team pretty
result.
Much? Exactly.
More or less, yeah, barring one or two injuries that picked up. Yeah, so I don't know. Much to comment on Hibs, Andrew, on that game, or
I just really echoing a lot of what you've said there. It just shows that they do have a bit of strength and depth there, but they also just have that mentality to turn up. Domestically, turn up. In Europe, there's a lot to be said about that, obviously, as I well know. But it's impressive to see what David Gray's done there, and he's done a fantastic job. If you really think about where they were last season, the pressure that was on him very, very early, this time last season, pretty much, which is crazy, and the instability that was at Hibs prior to that. Hibs are a completely different animal now. They are really dangerous. Obviously, I know we'll go through the draw for the games to come up, but I mean, it's literally probably the last team that any team wants to be drawn, because they are on such sort of hot form, and this feels like there's something special happening there at the moment. So yeah, well deserved, got the job done, the sky's the limit for them, I would say, this season.
Actually making excuses for Rangers in the next round already.
Well, no,
the last team anyone wants to get drawn.
The thing is, I could see them winning it. I could see them winning the cup. Because they're in such hot form early in the season.
That's fair.
Even if they got Celtic in the final, it's not going to be the old Hibs that sort of rolls over and gets their tummy tickled by Celtic. It's they're there to make a statement this season, which is great. And it's good to see, because it just raises the calibre in the Scottish game. It's great to see that. But yeah, I actually would tip them to win it. It's not long until the final, really, if you think about it. So yeah, I maybe tip them to win the cup.
Could come down to whether or not Hibs get through this next tie, because if they don't, they are much fresher. Against Warsaw.
Oh no, sorry. I thought you meant in the cup. I was like, yeah, they definitely
will. No. I mean, if they get through their tie against Warsaw, they've got European football to contend with.
Yeah,
if
but they're managing that now.
No, I know, but we're 3 or 4 games into the season. Come December, when the final gets played, if they turn up against a Celtic, which is likely, Celtic obviously still in the Champions League. If Hibs weren't in Europe, they could rest a few players the week before, that sort of thing. I don't know, we're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, but it's not a bad shout by any means to say that Hibs could go on and win it.
Yeah.
The we're not really going to get too deep into the Aberdeen-Morton game. That was another one of the round of 16 matches. It was a 3-0 win for Aberdeen, as expected, and not really too much to comment on that, I don't think, unless any of you have anything to chip in before we...
Absolute classic. Classic.
Their big new striker scored.
Finally, yeah.
Yengi, so he's a big unit.
My mate, who's a Dons fan, said he's got a touch like a trampoline, which it's similar. It's an easy simile, but it tickled me. The last game was Killie versus Dundee United, and I didn't expect too much from it because we're obviously up against Vienna on a Thursday, but mostly because our record at Rugby Park is fucking abysmal. The last win we had there in 90 minutes was in 2016, and we've had one in between then, which was after extra time in the Cup in 2020-ish. But all credit to Killie. They've shown a lot of resilience. Like early in the season, they've had 2-2 against Livy, where they were down to 10 men. They've come back from 2-0 down at Easter Road, and then they've beaten a Dundee United team that are mentally in a really good place, I think, despite the injuries. So fair play to Kettlewell and to Killie. They go into the draw. For the quarterfinals, which is as follows: Aberdeen, Motherwell, Killie, St Mirren, Thistle, Celtic, and Rangers, Hibs. So we'll each just say a name. I don't want any spiel. Aberdeen, Motherwell, who progresses? Matt first.
Motherwell.
Andrew?
Yeah, Motherwell.
I'll say Aberdeen. Killie versus Saints. Andrew, you first.
I'll go St Mirren.
I will say Killie.
St Mirren.
Thistle, Celtic. I'm going to say tough one. Tony Watt is going to score. Nah, Celtic. Yeah, Celtic progress.
Celtic.
Yeah, Partick Thistle comfortably.
Oops, sorry, that's me again. The shock of
Hiroshima
that
2.0
predictions.
Nagasaki. Rangers, Hibs, Matt.
Is it Ibrox?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Rangers.
No chance. It'll be Hibs comfortably.
Come on, my man.
Are you fucking taking the piss,
Hibs as well. Hibs have got a great record at Ibrox, especially in big games like that.
You don't believe in Russell Martin?
Well, just look at the track record domestically at the moment. We'll obviously won't get into it, but I think there's enough there. And for Hibs, their form's incredible. So
I've seen glimmers this second half. There's a lot to like about this Rangers team. Come on.
Yeah, in Europe, definitely, yeah. But just, domestically, Hibs, I think Hibs will win that very comfortably. I really do.
Yeah, so there we go. That's all our predictions. What I would need to do is listen back to our Viaplay Cup group stage predictions and who said what, and award some points or some merit for that. And we'll need to do the same with this and every other prediction we've made, because there's no point in making predictions if you don't listen back to them.
That's true.
And slag people off for saying that Brecon are going to finish second, because I'm sure Matthew did say that about the group stages.
Didn't someone say
not scoring a single fucking goal?
Battered every game. That was me, was it?
Yeah,
said that?
Yeah, they were awful. But the last thing I'll say about these quarterfinals, and it's a stat that I didn't read in a newspaper or online anywhere. It was more just because I had a curiosity about Rangers in this cup. I just had a feeling that they'd never played an away match in their life, and the last time they had an away tie in the League Cup was in December 2020 in a quarterfinal. So that's 2021, 22, 23, 24, and now 25. 5 years where the round of 16 and quarterfinals have all been at home.
Rigged, mate.
No. I'm not saying it's rigged, but it is mental, though, isn't it? That's 8, 9, 10 fixtures. I don't know what the maths is on that.
Have they reached the quarterfinals every time?
Yeah, aye. So quarterfinals,
Wow.
I think every time bar once.
Jeez,
Oh no, maybe it was every time.
Well, I honestly wouldn't say it's actually a benefit playing at Ibrox at the moment. So I think if it was at Easter Road, it would actually probably be better for Rangers, surprisingly, because there's quite a lot of unhappy Rangers fans. I mean, looking at this game at the moment, the amount of fans that are actually stayed in till the end is not very much. So I think, if Hibs do score early, I think, it's game over for Rangers.
This guy. So pessimistic.
Well, we'll see.
We will see, and it's about time to see who is going to be tonight's victor in the...
Yeah.
Oh, I was doing a great segue, and it's been interrupted by Rangers nonsense. Obviously kidding. But it's time for Home or Away, our weekly quiz.
In a world where sponsorship is more accessible than ever, that world exists at sportsponsorship.co.uk. Whether you're interested in making a difference to your local community or further afield, or perhaps you're looking for access to tens of thousands of followers online to push your brand further than ever, get in touch with sportsponsorship.co.uk. That's sportsponsorship.co.uk.
The last episode we had was episode 11, and the scores were 30 points to Mr. Guild and 19 to Matthew.
I've got no pen and paper this time, just so
big, his secret weapon, the pen and paper.
Big difference. So yeah,
there's excuse number one coming straight off the bat. Andrew is going to be first in this episode because I've finally started to, on my little app here, I've finally started to remember who's first and who's second. So Andrew, home or away?
I am definitely going home again.
Okie dokie. And I'm going to be prepared for you to have a go at me for this clue. Scottish midfielder with 17 caps and 0 goals. I'll give you some years.
Caps, 0 goals.
I'll give you some years because that seems very harsh.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah,
for a home one as well.
Yeah,
just
get
a Scottish midfielder that's played 17 games.
Also, if you're still listening and were listening earlier, I used the word imperfluous, where I should have really used impregnable or something like that. I used the wrong word.
Mate. Absolutely shocking.
No, it's been in my mind. I've been meaning to say it for the last 10 minutes, but I've only just remembered. Between 2007 and 2012 is when he got his caps. So 17 caps, 0 goals, Scottish midfielder between 07 and 12.
I'm going to have to go second clue.
Second clue, has won an SPL title in 2008 and 2 League Cups also with 2 different teams, of which you're not getting the years for. But he's won an SPL title in 08 and 2 League Cups with 2 different teams. So that's 1 with each team, just to be clear, not 4 in total.
Right, who's won the League Cup between 07 and 12?
Who won the league in 08, Andrew?
Pen and paper in front of him.
Andrew, who won the league in 08, mate, off the top of your head? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, wait, did you not say League Cup?
Won the league, no?
So he's won an SPL title in 2008, and he's won 2 League Cups with 2 different teams, and I've not given you the years or the teams for that. So he's won the SPL in 08 and a League Cup once with 2 different teams.
I'm absolutely fucked. My head's not in the game.
Third clue?
Yeah, go for it. Why not?
This might help. Sorry, I keep banging my mic. This might help secure the deal. This player has managed in both the Scottish Premiership and in the Scottish Championship.
Oh man, no, I'm not in it.
At least it's only for a point if you pass over.
I can't even remember the fucking clues. Like that's how. But nah, I'm out. I'm tapping out.
You don't want a quick recap of the clues? No.
I can't retain the information. That's why I write it down. So I'm just like, I've not got it.
Okay, Matt, it's passing over to you for a point. Scottish midfielder, 17 caps, 0 goals between 07 and 12. Won an SPL title in 08, 2 League Cups with 2 different teams. Has managed in the Scottish Premiership and the Championship.
Barry Robson?
Yes! He gets the
nice
point.
one. Well done, mate.
Well played. That's now 30 points to Andrew and 20 to Matt, so the gap has been bridged somewhat. Matthew, home or away?
Go away, mate. Fucking close this up.
Away. Yeah. Okie dokie. An uncapped Scottish midfielder who was in the Celtic youth system between 04 and 06.
Me. 04 I was like 13.
That's not giving you a lot, really.
04 and 06, uncapped. He didn't do fuck all. There for 2 years.
It's a tough first clue. That's
I'll
why
go
it's
to
in a
the
way.
second clue, mate.
This might help.
Okay.
This player's won the Scottish Second Division, back when it was the Second Division. So now League One.
League One. No. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, now League One. He's also won the Scottish First Division, now the Championship. So he won it when it was called the Second Div and the First Div. He's won the Challenge Cup 3 times, and has also won the Scottish League Cup, all with the same team.
All with the same team.
So he's won the Second Division, the First Division, the Challenge Cup 3 times, and the Scottish League Cup, all with the same team.
He's Scottish.
Uncapped Scottish midfielder in the Celtic youth between 04 and 06.
I think it's a Ross County player. I'm going to assume. It's been with him the whole time. Because County have got a good Challenge Cup record and they did win the League Cup. I've got someone's name on my head.
You just take your time, mate. No problem. Don't rush it. It's worth 4 points. This would bridge the gap to just 6. The closest it's been since like week 5.
I don't think I'm going to know the guy's name.
Andrew's giving it like the Chris Tarrant face, like really studious. Like,
I'm trying to think. I've got one. Did you say what position they played? Sorry.
Uncapped Scottish midfielder.
Midfielder. So technically, I could qualify for that, but I don't. I'm not sure. No, actually, the dates don't marry up.
Is there a plane going past one of your houses?
Yeah,
No.
mine or his, I think. They fly
Maybe
over
you're
the family
playing.
sometimes.
That's the
Oh yeah, no, it is here. Sorry, I had my
it's the
headphones on.
2036 from Dublin coming in. Do you want to take a guess, Matt, or do you want to get the next clue? Or do you want another minute?
Can I get another clue? Yeah.
Your final clue.
I don't think it'll
This
help.
player retired in the summer of 2025 from Montrose.
Is it Michael Gardine?
Maybe. Oh, bastard, that's who I had
It
in my head.
is Midge. Yes, well done. 2 points.
Well done,
And
mate.
it's now 30 points to 22.
I didn't know he played for Celtic.
I had Gardine in my head,
Youth-
but I
youth
didn't
product.
know. Yeah, I thought any Scottish player could qualify,
Yeah.
or Irish, or whatever the hell he is. And
He's Scottish, mate.
it's hard to tell when he played for Celtic.
I thought someone else, but yeah, I didn't know he played for Celtic. But
I thought you were going to get it when you went down the county route. It's good knowledge
Yeah.
to know that
I
they've
just
won the
couldn't name a
League Cup.
player,
And
like-
that poked me towards Gardine, to be fair. So I didn't have anyone until you said county. So
well played, though. That's
Yeah,
the
well
gap is
done.
now 30 to 22. That's
well done, mate. Well deserved.
yeah, really
Thank you.
impressive. So next week it'll be Matt to go first. I'll just quickly update the scores before I forget.
Let me get my pen and paper next week.
you do.
Yeah, you've lessons have been learned, eh?
That's it. Go with Old
That-
Faithful.
That is it. Right, that's also it for episode 12. What a fantastic
Only went an hour and a half.
hour. I was going to say, what a fantastic hour we've had, despite it was meant to be a half an hour episode.
You need to get some editing
But,
on the go.
Yeah, if you're still here, thanks for hanging about. The episodes come out every Tuesday. Although it's now 22:03, I've got to try and get this released in the next hour and 57. So best of luck. Yeah, thanks again for listening. It's Tin Pot Podcast. We're on all the places that you want to find us. Until then, have a fucking great week.
Bye.